Hi, welcome to the Crochet Authority podcast, the best and maybe smallest corner of the internet, where three incredibly talented and beautiful women claim to know everything there is to know about fiber arts.
We are Morgan,
Anna,
And Savannah.
three crocheters turned BFFs who consistently have too much to say.
consider this a glimpse into not only our conversations, but our overflowing and powerful minds. From our group chat to your ears, welcome to the pod.
Hey!
I don't know, I thought you guys were prepared and good at your jobs. There were some remarks made off camera.
Hey guys! How are you all?
We're totally good and not fighting. We weren't this close to breaking up.
No.
Mm-mm.
I would say we're like Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner, but that's probably old news by the time this is posted. So.
Yeah.
We're talking about pop culture 2 weeks. We're a pop culture podcast, but we upload bi-weekly.
Hey.
We record weeks in advance.
Everything's topical and relevant.
Yep.
It's like Instagram Reels.
Exactly.
No,
My
more like
friends-
YouTube Shorts.
We are the not there. Not yet.
That'll be our monthly episodes.
Please.
Bicentennial
Bicentennial
How are you guys
episodes.
doing? Can I
I'm
ask
sweating.
for real? You're sweating? Okay.
Didn't even hear what you said, Savannah. Can't lie.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, thanks.
Not sweating? Sweating? What's the status?
I'm sitting under a blankie. I was a little chilly.
Oh.
Cannot relate in the slightest.
Yeah, no.
For
No.
some reason, it was like cool and like all summer in London, and then September hits and it's like 30 degrees,
Sick.
and I
Convert
don't
that
have
to
air
Fahrenheit
conditioning.
for the viewers at home.
I don't know.
Okay.
I can do the math right now.
Google it. Hey, Google.
You don't have the conversion
86.
rate in your head? Oh,
Sick.
that's my lucky number.
What a random lucky number. It has been in the 90s here. Like yesterday was just 98. Why?
What?
Why? I haven't
like
gone outside.
mid-70s here.
I have not gone outside in days. I just keep to my little safe space. I don't like sweating.
Real. Anyways, what are you guys working on? What's going on in the crochet world? Or knitting?
Unfortunately, I'm still working on the hardalls, Savannah. Please don't hate me. Babe, you're so
Wow.
hot. Please extend my testing time.
And when were they due?
Please. Tuesday.
Like
But
this past
in my-
Tuesday?
In my defense, I have no concept of my body. And I was like, this is definitely my size. Not my size. So I have to make a lot more squares.
Real.
So they will get done. I haven't done a lot of crocheting or knitting the past couple of days.
That's fair. That's so fair.
I've been doing other stuff.
Nice.
So.
And you, Morgan?
I'm still working on that sweater. It's not fun to do right now when it's 30 degrees because it's one strand of mohair and one strand of alpaca. And by that sweater, I mean like the one with the river and the
Yes.
grass.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm on the back
Nice.
panel.
Yay.
Finally.
Let's go.
I put off doing the collar for like the neckline for like so long because I got to that point and then I was like, I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to think about anything. And so I just didn't do it.
Nice.
And I finally did it.
You're so brave.
I know.
Yeah.
I was going to say, doing necklines is so not challenging, but I also get to that point and I'm like, no. And I cannot do that right now. Like, it's not hard, and I'm just like, I can't fathom it.
No, like with knitting, I'm like, I feel like it's so much more to figure out because I'm like, I'm not doing it again. With crochet, it's easy and it's fast, but like knitting, I'm like, and
Very fair.
it's just the same thing every time, anyways. I don't know, like I don't understand what my issue is. Like,
You guys
How
just
about-
actually don't like crocheting.
I just
I said it last episode.
I'm not saying that.
Don't like it. Overrated. Ew.
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 Savannah, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What am I working on? I'm still working on... I moved on to a different color for the solar flares I'm making. There are 3 different colors of this ring.
Cute.
They're like halfway stitched together at this point, honestly. But I'm also still making the squares, so it's like a weird... Normally I make all the squares, and it was a whole thing. But yeah, still working on those. I finally made a post-it of all my, like, the next projects I'm gonna make, and it's like a full post-it. So,
well, that's
at least I have
nice.
stuff to make.
Yeah.
I'm, like, excited to do that once things with the book calms down, but everything's really busy right now. It's, like, genuinely, it's been, like, the busiest week of my entire life, and I am so overwhelmed.
exciting.
So exciting, but also so overwhelming. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you haven't already bought Savannah's book,
What are you doing?
go buy
What
it.
are you doing?
You can literally listen to this as you press buy now.
That's what all the girls are doing. It's hot.
Just Google it.
I mean,
It's
look at
called retro
how
crochet style.
15
Price and
beginner
price.
friendly,
50,
size inclusive
yep.
patterns.
You guys are media trained. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we had training
also-
sessions. We had
we
training
also wanna
sessions
say-
with Savannah.
Yeah, thank you. I do need media training, like, legitimately. Should I tell you guys this? I had an interview with my college newspaper. I don't know if you guys saw the article that I put on my Instagram story.
Of course we did.
It was like a 45-minute long conversation, and there were 2 quotes from me in the article, which is, like, so fair. But I was like, I said so much, and for what? Like, I probably wasted this girl's time. She probably wanted me there for 15 minutes. But the girl who was writing the story, we just had a really good, like, conversational flow, I thought. Like, I don't know. It was good. She was asking questions. I love answering questions. And she fully asked how much my, like, what's it called, advance was. And I just told her. Just straight up. We were in such, like, a flow. And she was like, oh, yeah, and how much was your advance? And I was just like, oh, yeah.
I love transparency.
Yeah,
Love
stay
it.
transparent, guys. That's what it is. It's not me being stupid. It's transparency.
Did she include it?
No, thank the Lord. But she did include that I was obsessed with Love Island and sat in my room and watched it while I crocheted and made the book. And I was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean,
That
it's
is
true.
so funny.
If it's the truth.
But anyways, we wanted to say thank you guys. Thank you to our lovely listeners for being so kind to us about this podcast. It is so nice. It is so nice. We just hit, as of yesterday, as we're recording this, we hit 500 followers on Instagram.
Do
Which is
not go
crazy.
unfollow us, please.
That would be very funny, honestly.
It would be.
But yeah,
that's
that's so
crazy.
nice.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. It feels like every day we're like texting the group chat like, guys, why are we kind of like the best podcasters ever? Why is everyone so nice to us? Like,
Oh my
it's exactly how
God.
it goes. So thanks for listening. I don't know about you guys, but I literally thought 4 people would listen, 3 of them being us. So thanks everyone for being so kind. We just wanted to send love.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you.
Cool.
Anyways,
So much exciting stuff.
This episode is covering inspiration.
Ooh.
Inspiration. We're not going to talk about inspiration versus copying because that is an entirely different episode. Different thing. We're just talking about how we get inspired.
Because we like to
Where
talk
we-
about ourselves.
Yes, we do.
If you haven't
While
already found that out.
Yeah. Controversy is great, but give us a few more episodes before we start like beef on the internet. Okay?
Yeah.
But anyway, just as a general question, are there sources where you draw your inspiration from? Like, do you go somewhere to intentionally get inspired? This is fascinating to me.
Yes and no. Like, obviously, inspiration comes from, like, just being alive. It's not like you're gonna come up with something new. So you're gonna get, it's in some ways inspired by something. But for me, it's sometimes, like, a stitch and I'm like, ooh, like I would love to see how that looks worked up as like XYZ, or like I'll see something that someone else is doing and maybe a texture of the yarn. I'm like, oh, like I love the way they did it like that. That kind of makes me think, what if I did something like this? And it's not like I'm not gonna recreate their design. That's not the point. But it's like you see something and it kind of like starts a little spark, and you're like, ooh, what if I like did something like this or whatever. So I think I just kind of get it from everywhere. Probably Instagram and Pinterest the most, just because seeing other people be really creative really helps me.
Mm-hmm.
Same. That's it. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I don't know, like sometimes it's like, I don't know, I don't really go and look for inspiration per se. I'm always scrolling Pinterest when I'm bored. I'm just like looking at things, and then occasionally it'll come from there. But for me, it's not like I'm gonna copy that person. It's like I like the silhouette, or I like the colors, or like, oh, I want to make a sweater like that. Like, oh, I would love a turtleneck right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, I don't really go anywhere and look, but I do get a lot of my inspiration from, like, as we know, like movies and TV shows and music. A lot of
Those are
music.
good places to get inspo from.
Yeah.
Whenever I was like writing the book and like, actively making patterns intentionally, I would like, since it was supposed to be like this retro vintage thing, I'd like try and Google and find random PDFs people had uploaded of like vintage crochet magazines and books and things like that, which of course, like, same as you all, like, you still draw inspiration from everywhere. But whenever I was like, I need to get inspired, like, I want to look at these color combos, I want to look at, like, I don't know, just what was popular, what patterns I like, and patchwork things and things like that. I very intentionally was like, I'm going to look at these old styles and see what I like about them, and see how my style would like fit into them, and then make something, and it'll be beautiful. And it was beautiful.
Yeah, I think what both of you guys are saying about like the shaping or like the look of something is a big one, because I think I'll like look at stuff that other people are doing and I'm like, wow, I just really love the way that like is shaped on them. I would like to create something that has a similar shape. I think a lot of what I like to do, even if it's not really represented, I feel like my Instagram isn't a great representation of like where my design style is going. But I like a lot of basics. I wear a lot of basics like every day. So I like looking at like the shaping of garments. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got one of these tops from my mom, and she doesn't like to wear them because they show her arms, and God forbid the world sees her arms. But I really like the tops, but they like bunch like right here, like right between, I don't know, like the shoulder and the armpit. And I was thinking about the shaping of it because I really like the shape of the top. It's just right there. So I was like in my mind and like not designer mode. Well, I'm in designer mode right now, guys. But just like, how would I fix that, which I'm not going to. Maybe once I get a sewing machine or something. But yeah. Thrilling story, right?
Yeah.
No, that's actually like very similar to what I do. It's like I'll look at construction of stuff in the store. I might never do anything with it, but sometimes I look at it just to like understand how they got that type of silhouette. I probably can't accomplish it with my skills, but maybe one day like I can once I learn them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just look at people's clothes like in class and everything. Like, especially when people have machine knit stuff. I'm like, I want to know like how that was constructed and like how I would make it. And then not that it would look better, like machine knit stuff can look good, but I'm just like, I know what you are, which I think is fun, like once you start making your own clothes, like you understand garment construction. Wow. And it's just fun to be able to understand these things and like be like, oh, that was constructed this way. I remember once, do you guys know Crochet Callista on Instagram? Yeah.
Yes.
She's wonderful. She's done for me many a time. but they have this jumper like sweater pattern, and it's constructed like top down. It's like a raglan type thing, and I was showing it to my friend because she had sent it to me on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that's my friend, and she was like, how would you even make that? Because it was like different stripes as the raglan went down, and I was like, it's constructed top down, like I can tell from the stitches. And she was just so amazed that I was able to tell that, and so like I was just like really famous and awesome in that moment. So yeah.
I love when my friends will send me stuff and I'll just be like, yeah, love them. Like, maybe I'm not mutuals,
That's
but
my
like
friend.
I probably follow them. I'm like, ooh, love. I feel like someone has sent me something of Morgan's before.
Yeah, same. The Uno vest. Everyone sent me that.
I don't remember what but I literally, like, yeah, and I don't like her. Like, I know her, but...
My friends, it's all the time. It's like recently it's been like something of Alexandria's. Someone sent me one of Emma's TikToks. It was like, that's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
My friend Emma.
Kate, my girlfriend, will send me stuff all the time, and I'm like, hey, babe, if you open the comments, you'll see that I already commented. Hey, you, like, if it has, like, 500,000 likes, hey, babe, my entire feed, Fiber Arts, definitely have seen it. Like, it's so... Not me bashing on Kate. Kate, if you're listening, you're probably gonna text me and get annoyed, but... it's with all the love.
Yeah, I love it though, because I feel like I do the same thing, because my friend does gymnastics, and like whenever I see anything that has to do with gymnastics, I send it to her, and I know she's already seen it, but I'm like...
It's the thought, and like there's something so nice about that.
Yeah. So
that's what I think people, like, as you grow older and get friends, you like narrow in on people's traits so you can like get them gifts or get them these things. Have we talked about this before? I talk about this with everyone. Just that everyone has these like fun facts. Yeah. And like my thing is crochet. So people like, again, send me everything to do with crochet and yarn that they see online. But like my friend Cooper, who's, maybe he's listening, I don't know. But he's really into like sports and trains and like environmental stuff. So anytime I see anything about those, I send them to him. Like, I think it's just a lot of fun that people have their little things.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they probably already all seen it
Yeah.
already. Like my friend Joelle also, I don't think she listens, but if she does, she sends me every single crochet thing she sees, and I love the enthusiasm. She's an Instagram Reels girly, but I'm like, I saw that on TikTok like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Joelle, I love you. I think you're great. I still enjoy them. Because of course I'm like, that's great! Oh my god, I've never seen that before! Wow!
I think it just kind of boils down to the like, oh my gosh, they saw that and they thought of me, and that's really nice.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'll watch the
nice.
same thing over and over if, like, my friends send me stuff I've seen. It's just, like, really sweet that, like, I came to mind and they, like, actively made the effort to, like, send it my way because they thought I would enjoy it. Like, that is just genuinely really wholesome and nice.
Yeah. Wow. Having friends is good, guys.
It's crazy.
Weird.
We're like men who discover empathy right now. We're like, guys.
Did you guys see, this is maybe super niche and super off topic, but did you see, probably like a month ago, 2 months ago, no concept of time, by the way, there was this guy who was like, guys, like, I just thought of something, like, sit down, like, this, like, this might change your life. And then he was like, what if no one else around you is real? And then, like, a bunch of women were like, hey, thought of that when I was 3. Like, hey, a lot of people have already talked about this.
You're late.
Sorry, not to bash on the men.
But no, it's okay.
Love you a little bit. If you're listening to this podcast, the 2% of our listeners who are male identifying, but everyone else.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, that was just that came to my mind. Going back to the topic of today's podcast, when you guys look back at what you've made, are there certain pieces that like the inspiration was like very clear to you? Like for me, the Oopsie Daisy bag, I basically saw the jasmine stitch and I was like, that's gorgeous. I think an accessory would work really well, and then like the pattern kind of built itself because of like it's just based on the stitch sort of thing. But are there any specific pieces that you guys made that like you have like a very good memory of the design process or the inspiration process or whatever? Obsessed with you two both looking at your Instagrams currently.
Yeah, I'm looking at my Instagram.
Hey,
right now.
not a memory of what I've made. Like, not a
I don't
single
know.
thought.
I mean,
Don't worry
like,
about it.
all of my, like, graphic stuff, it's, like, very
Yeah.
obvious. Because it's
Yeah.
just based
Where'd
directly
you get your inspiration
on
for that hotel cardigan from?
that. It
That's
really
so
just came
cool.
to me in a dream.
Wow.
Wow.
Mind of our generation, really.
I just, like, I know, like, I needed to bring it to the world. I know no one's ever seen it before. And I was just like, I gotta get this.
Oh my god.
Knit into a
That
sweater.
reminds me. I was on Pinterest and I was scrolling, and of course I see both of your stuff on there, and then I'm like, know them. I love doing that. That's one of my favorite
Yeah.
things. Also, knowing
Yeah.
the stuff on Pinterest.
This is
Anyways.
a screenshot from yesterday.
Yes. 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 So I saw the Grand Budapest sweater, and I clicked on it because I wanted to see. I always check if it's actually you guys posting it or if it's someone stealing your content, and I think it was just posted from Instagram, but
Yeah.
I digress. Someone had commented, "Is this based on the Grand Budapest Hotel?"
I think that's the exact one that I saw.
Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, so it's
That's what.
granted I had to learn. Like, I didn't know what it was at first because I'm not cultured, but like, if you know what the Grand Budapest Hotel is, it looks just like it. No, like, not to be rude to that person, but like, what else would it be?"
Yeah.
Anyways, also got off topic there.
Everything else. I think for my flower sweater, it's the same thing as your bag. Now my phone is not turning on. I think I saw like the tutorial for the stitch, and then I was like, I can make that into a sweater, and then I just figured it out.
And then now you're famous.
And yeah, and now
Everyone
everyone hates
wants
me because I
that.
don't have a pattern for it.
Sorry that you're not writing a pattern based on someone else's instruction of a design.
Watch the video, figure it out yourself. Hee hee.
You know what I could say right now
What?
about patterns and what you should make and what patterns you should.
I'll kill you.
Okay,
I
moving
thought
on.
you were about to say. I thought you were about to say something controversial, and I was like, "We can tell me, we can cut it out," and then you're just gonna be annoying. Got it.
Yeah.
Understood.
As per usual. Anyway, inspiration for me. After I had made the Starburst, the Starburst granny square that I do for literally everything. It's the granny square used in the flower rolls, the solar flares, anything that I've ever made. I still have more ideas for how to shape that because now I know how to like make that square like fit measurements at different points of people's bodies. So once I made the flower rolls, I had the idea for the solar flares, and then I had the idea for the bell blossom top, and then I have a couple more ideas that I will not be sharing because maybe I'll just never bring them into fruition, and it would be embarrassing if I didn't. But I also like that, like getting really into one piece of a design and being like, how can I make this into other garments, and how can I make those garments unique, but still, I don't know, like they would go together if you wore them together, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it kind of helps establish your style too as a designer because, like, if you look at people with, a fair amount of patterns, you can kind of tell what their style is.
Yeah, yeah.
Not me.
That's weird to me now that I have 15. No, by the time this episode is out, I'll have 18 patterns out.
Yeah.
18.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
And
I can tell
literally,
you.
it went from 2 to 15, and then you're gonna add the heart all
The
stuff.
3
but
more, yeah, the heart stuff. That's
wild.
But it is like there is like a kind of clear, cohesive style, and I think the wonderful listing images animated for me also help. I love those. I just keep on going on my own website and staring at all the patterns so I can like cosplay a person who might buy the patterns. So, and I think
do
they
that.
look great.
I do that on my own Instagram, like my personal one. When people follow me, like especially if it's someone I know, I scroll through and I'm like, what are they seeing? And do they think I'm like stunning? Are they obsessed with me currently? Maybe that's just super self-absorbed, and it probably is. Sorry.
I think everyone does that, right? Right, guys?
You guys right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We actually
yeah.
didn't talk at all about. Well, Morgan, I guess, didn't talk really at all about where you got
About what?
inspiration from specific pieces, besides just talking about the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Um,
Then we moved on to Savannah.
I can talk. Well, this, like,
Talk.
The people are dying to know.
I don't
They
know.
are.
First of all, I have a bad memory.
Real.
We know. Girls,
So
just lie. Just start lying.
Do not remember.
Oh my god.
My fruit market cardigan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That one.
Love that one.
That one is, like, genuinely, there is an episode of Wizards of Waverly Place. I don't know what episode. I don't remember what else happens in this episode. All I remember is that Alex is at this, like, farmer's market, whatever, and she's with some lady, and this lady has a bag, like a market bag, with fruit inside.
Mm.
And that's it.
And the cardigan was born.
And then I made a cardigan
That's
multiple
crazy.
years later.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That is such an interesting stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Is that? Whatever. Stream of thought, I guess. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Just because I don't know if I have that level of creativity to, like, look at something and be inspired by, like, the concept of it and be able to then transform it in my mind to my artistic medium. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, like, I'm very, like, literal. I'm very much, like, by the book. I follow directions. I'm a creative person, but not in a way that, like, goes super wide out there. I'm always impressed by people that do. So that's so impressive to me that you looked at something and, like, it struck you so much that you were able to, like, transform it into a cardigan. I just think that's wild.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't
I just, like,
comprehend it.
do you guys not have, like, these, like, just random, very vivid memories of just points in TV shows or movies from when you were younger?
Not really.
I probably do, but now that I'm, like, forced to think about it, I
You
can't
don't,
think of a single
yeah.
one, yeah.
Not a single.
But
But, like, probably, yeah.
I probably saw something that, like, stirred that thought, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
You know what? I had always wanted, like, from when I started crocheting, actually, I'd had an idea of something like that. I had originally wanted to do the fruits underneath so that it, like, really looked like a bag of fruit. But
Yeah.
it just, like, it ended up not working that way, and, like, the yarn is just too thick to do. So maybe I'll do it another time with different yarn, thinner yarn.
Yeah.
But, and then it just kind of evolved into that. But I had actually, now that I think about it, I had that idea for a really long time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To answer your question. And then, yeah, besides that, like, all of the obvious stuff is very obvious.
Mm.
And directly referencing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wish, like Anna said, I could take some sort of, like, direct inspiration like that. Like, of course I see people in TV shows or something and I see what they're wearing and I'm like, what if I made that in knit or crochet? But it's usually, like, I don't know, like Anna said, I'm inspired by a certain stitch or a certain shape of a garment instead of, like, taking something that has nothing to do with crochet or clothing at all and making it something that is crochet or clothing, which is so cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I was also going to bring up, someone on my TikTok commented. I recently had a TikTok do very well. Best it's ever done. Very exciting stuff. But someone commented, it was just me showing a bunch of my different pieces, and they were like, did you come up with those color combos? And I was like, girl, who else would? What do you mean? What else would I be doing? Which, of course, you can take inspiration from other people's things. But I wanted to know where you guys get your color inspo from. Because I have a very specific way of doing it. So I want to know how you do it.
And
Honestly, I just pick colors that I like, I think. I know myself very well on the colors that I would enjoy to wear, or, like, I'm pretty open to kind of any color as long as it's, like, muted. Not even pastel, but, like, a little bit, like, gray toned. That's always been my thing. But I go with the colors that I know I like, and I just kind of pair them together, I guess. I've always had, excuse me, a very good eye for color, so it helps.
Since birth.
Yes.
Well. For me, it kind of depends. Usually, it'll be like if I have an idea for something and I already have the yarn for it, I'll just use what I already have and kind of make it work. But otherwise, usually it starts with the idea and then I'll choose the yarn.
Yeah.
If it's like a very specific idea, then I'll seek out the right colors of yarn. But like I'll kind of conceptualize the project, figure out what weight I want to use, like what fiber I want to use, and then see what they have available and then choose from there. I can show you something. I'm about to order yarn. I'm waiting till I move because I don't want to like order yarn for it to sit and then schlep it across the city.
Yeah.
But I put it all in my basket and I was trying to figure out what colors to get. And so I sneak peek, so I screenshotted it. Can you hear me? And I put it in my drawing app, and then I was like comparing to figure out what I think I ended up with these guys here. But
yeah, I honestly do that as well, where sometimes it's hard. Like some Lovecrafts, I think, has a feature where you can like click and compare, and you can like,
it's really nice.
It helps you build. Excuse me. Every time we film, I have to cough the whole time.
Drink some water, girl.
I do. I'm trying. I really am. I'm so sorry. So that feature is very helpful to help like build the palette of something, but like sometimes you don't have that. So I do the pull it into my Procreate app, and I like try to build my color palette that way. How about you, Savannah? You said you have a very specific way. I'm very interested now.
I do. I mean, either it's like you guys said, like I know what colors I like. I don't do it at all like Morgan. Like when I decide if I have like a project, like I'm not like, what weight is this gonna be? It's gonna be worsted weight. It always is. It always will be for me. Maybe one day I'll expand my horizons, but today my horizons will stay right there. But anyways, I'll try to use stuff from my stash. I used to buy a lot of yarn, and I'm not anymore. Well, my Sorella yarn just came in from their Taylor Swift collection. Yeah, I'm so excited. Well, it got to my home in Kentucky, but my parents are coming up today for the book launch, so I get my yarn. My first ever like hand-dyed like any sort of like local. I'm so excited.
Send us pictures. I want to see.
I will.
Yours IRL.
I will post it all over everywhere. Super excited. What was I talking about? Yeah, choosing colors. Okay. Because my debate is like, should I get an iPad? Because I think it'd be so fun to like draw on pictures like that. Because my laptop does have a touchscreen. iPad baby.
I play Angry Birds on my iPad. You guys know.
I keep all my pattern notes are in here now too.
Really?
Yeah, honestly,
nice.
I have, because I do all my thumbnails and I do all of my sticker designs.
I do, yeah. And I do like a lot of like my sketching when I have an idea.
Yeah. See, I feel like I should have something like that. For now, I have this journal, which my laptop is currently resting on top of it, or I would show you guys, of like the worst sketches you've ever seen in your entire life.
For sure.
I have taken a fashion illustration class. I do kind of know how to conceptualize more now. But genuinely, like, you would not recognize what these had become. As long as it makes sense to me, it's fine.
That's all that really matters, yeah.
It is. But again, because a lot of my designs were like based on the Starburst square, I would buy, of course, like 4 colors. And I've gotten to a point where I can visualize what a square will look like from the 4 colors just by like of course you could draw it out. You could, I don't know, do all these things. But whenever I'm like shopping for yarn, it's like I like know. I don't have to guess what it'll look like. But then sometimes I guess I overestimate how much I'll like a color combination, which is currently happening right now. I was making a Secret Garden sweater for one of my friends. All the squares are finished. I did all of them, and I don't like them. So they're sitting on my bookshelf, and maybe they'll become a sweater one day. Maybe not. We'll see. I'm normally not the kind of person to like not finish projects, but I just don't like it anymore.
No, I get that.
So, yeah.
It's also tough because when you stare at a project for so long, if it's not perfect, and I literally mean perfect, even if it is, sometimes you're like, ew, like, I don't know if I like this. Like, you just, it's hard. You need to, like, kind of take the step back and be like, all right, I'll come back to you in a couple days. I can't look at this right now.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, did you guys see whenever I was making the green Daisy Days dress for my friend and I missed, like, one stitch? I don't know if you guys saw that at all. It was a very specific thing. It's like the Daisy Days dress is made of these, like, rectangular panels. So the one stitch missed. Yeah.
I did see that.
It was forever ago. But, like, whenever she was modeling it, I saw where the one stitch was. Like, I was like, no one will be able to notice. I notice.
I'm gonna look.
I notice. She didn't. It was
But
fine.
you know where it is.
I know where it is. Even when she's wearing it, not even when it's just like a flat lay. But it's fine.
I'm looking.
It's whatever. I also, this is only tangential. Well, it's not. We're talking about colors. I also use like color palette generators.
Yeah.
Like online stuff. Yeah. Just because I like colors, but then I make everything in pink and green and tan. Like, girl, do something new, please.
I found it. Sorry.
What is that?
What is it?
I'm looking at it.
Girl?
I said to you I was gonna look it up. So I found it. You're welcome. It's so barely noticeable, dude.
And no one can know.
I can see it.
You posted it on your story saying, I missed a stitch. I'm not going back to fix it. You literally said that.
I didn't know other people. Oh my god.
Yeah. The masses are gonna come after you, Savannah. You're fine.
I'm gonna take apart that entire dress and redo that entire
If you do that, I'll kill you.
Oh my Lord.
God.
I hate you guys. Can I even see it? Because I saw it in person, but I feel like in the photos, like, it wasn't as...
I could have been looking at the wrong thing. Girl, who knows? I'm just trying to be annoying.
Have a look-see.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Oh my god.
Immediately.
Anyways. Online palette generators, super helpful. There's also a bunch of palettes on Pinterest. We're done with you and your skipped stitch.
So sorry.
I apparently
Savannah
started too
skipped
much
stitch.
drama. Sorry.
You did.
Going back
I'm in
to your
emotional
color palette.
distress. It's not working out for me. I'm literally thinking about redoing that dress right now. Like, that's what my mind is gonna be on now.
Savannah.
Morgan, did you find it?
Yeah.
Girl, if
didn't
you
hear
undo
it,
it, I'm gonna
said.
freak out.
Don't undo it. You're actually psycho. Just, are the front and the back panels the same?
Yeah.
Turn it around.
Reverse it.
It was originally supposed to be on the back, but then she was like, I want to wear it this way. I was like, okay.
What's the
And then I
difference?
saw the stitch. I know, right? It's just where the tie is, and I don't want to
So you're gonna
the
redo
tie.
the dress,
Yeah, instead of reweaving the tie.
which you have to take out anyways to redo the dress.
Hey.
I see we studied logical thinking in university.
Okay.
Moving on. What were we saying? Color palettes.
Color palettes.
Oh
my god.
Yeah, I don't know. Where we get our color inspo from?
I'm really never on Pinterest, so it is fascinating to me. Like, do you guys just sit and scroll Pinterest? Do you listen to music? Like, what's the process?
Usually it's when I'm bored and swiping through the usual suspects, and then I'm like, ugh, they're not doing it for me, so I'll scroll Pinterest, or I'm like watching a show but I like don't care enough, and I'll scroll Pinterest for like 5 minutes and then I'm out.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, recently, I have been using the downtime feature on my phone. So basically all of my apps lock from 9 p.m. to 10 a.m. So I save my sanity a little bit and don't look at social media as much because it makes me feel really bad about myself, and I already do that enough myself. So I don't need it more. But somehow I allowed myself to keep Pinterest unlocked, even though it's like, also half the idea is because I work on social media to not.
Mm.
I'll work up until 9 some nights because like
Mm-hmm.
I can do my hours weird sort of thing, but I try not to do anything after that. But somehow I'm like, well, even though Pinterest has fiber arts, like whatever, I'll still go on there. And I'll sometimes like scroll before bed if I'm just like, I normally try to read, but sometimes I'm like waiting for Kate to text me back or something. I'm just like scrolling through. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just moments of boredom and all my other apps are locked.
Real. Real.
It's kind of what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Sick. Okay. Are there any other things that we don't want to talk about inspiration wise? Any wise pieces of advice that we would give to anyone listening about finding your inspiration?
I would say before you start making a pattern for something, look if there's other patterns first. Before you start making a garment and claiming that you're the first person to ever make the garment. I get it. I get the appeal, especially if you're new and you haven't been around and seen a million different iterations of the same design. Which, even if there are a million different patterns for the same design, like a basic tank top or something, people might want yours specifically still, which is totally fair. But I just see so many people be like, I created a crochet dress. What? What? Never been done before. So I like, whenever I make stuff, I like try to generically search it on Pinterest or Google or whatever, or just Etsy, just to see like what other people are doing and if mine is actually different or if it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know, one of the girls.
No, I get that though. It's very easy to get wrapped up into your own world and your own thought process, and it's like, let's all be so for real. We all have an individuality complex. We all crave it. We all want to be different. You know, it's like I very much do all the time. I'm like, wow, it's shocking how this has never been done before, and I do like a Pinterest search and I'm like immediately humbled. And I think it's one thing if you want to create like a vest or like a generic like drop shoulder sweater. Like there's you could definitely do that. You don't have to like stop yourself from doing that stuff. But if you think, and I mean this in a nice way, if you think that the thing that you thought of is like never been done before, you could still do it. No one's saying you can't, but just like don't be so quick to try to act like you invented everything. You know, we're all a community. We're all here to support one another. If you try to like push yourself ahead, it might come across a little weird.
Nice.
Yeah. And no one has to listen to this as well. If you're getting mad, just don't listen to us. It's okay.
At the end of the day, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Who cares?
That's true.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about with one of my interviews was like, even when I'm crocheting alone in my bed and watching TV, I don't feel the weight of everyone alongside me. But you're like, I don't know if you guys feel this, like you're aware that people will be seeing what you're making and they will be thinking about it and they will be commenting on it and they will be, you guys don't feel this at all?
So for me, none of the people in my phone are real. You guys aren't real. No one subscribed to me on YouTube is real. Like I can get like 3,000
your personal Truman Show.
3,000 views on a YouTube video. That's just a number. It's just going up for fun.
Screen.
It is just going up for. None of these people are real to me. I don't think, frankly, I don't think any of them like me. Like none of it's real to me. None of it's real to me. So I totally understand your thought process. Genuinely, I do. I just feel the complete opposite.
I also just have I have no concept of like numbers and measurements. So when someone's like, that's like 100,000 people that just saw that, I'm like, was it? I don't know what that looks like. I cannot look at a crowd and go, that's 75 people. You could tell me that is like 40 people or 120. I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I did an event with a yarn store this past Wednesday for the book launch event. And I got there a little early. I was talking to the owner of the yarn store. It's Rebel Pearl in Bloomington, Indiana. It's a lovely little yarn store. I am so tempted to spend all of my money there every time I go. But they just opened. They just celebrated their 2-year anniversary. But anyways, I just had that TikTok get big. And she was like, "Oh, I saw your video." And I was like, a real life person saw that and like recognized me as a fellow human person and like remembered it. And like, because when I watch stuff on TikTok, most of the stuff I see, 90% of the stuff I see, if you showed me it the next day, I would be like, "Oh, that's new. Like, wow, I've never seen this before," you know? Which isn't great. Not great at all for attention span, for memory. We're not going to talk about my cognitive issues. But I was just like, you're a real person that saw that. And like a lot of people did see it, and they might remember it in the exact same way as you. That's kind of weird. That's really weird. It's really, really weird. So I have those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say something similar. When I first started my YouTube, I was a freshman in college, and I really, really enjoyed like college YouTubers who like talked about their life and stuff, whatever. And I kind of had my content like in that direction at first. And so I made a video about being a freshman at a school that is now my alma mater. And hey, when you have your friends tell you that they watched that video just before knowing you because they are gonna go to the school, makes you want to die a little. That video was privated. And no future prospective freshman will see it. The idea that people walking around that campus that didn't know me saw that video makes me really upset. And I made it, but I get it. It's like, you're like, I didn't intend for you to see that. Even you did. But like, you shouldn't. I don't want you to see that. And I certainly don't want to I don't want you to tell me that you did. Like, just wipe it from your mem, girl.
That was, okay, this is going to be a very specific experience, but my brother is a basketball YouTuber. Fun fact. Super Celtic 24, shout out. I have done some camera work for the channel, you know. He was like, "Come film this for me," and I was like, "Okay." And I was like 12, and I was like, "This is the best thing ever." But like, he's had like his March Madness bracket. Oh, you already found it?
Damn!
You guys are quick. Yeah, he has like a good amount of subscribers.
Okay, 7K.
I know.
He has 1,000 videos.
I know. No, he's been uploading for like probably like a decade now. Like genuinely. He's committed. But he does like a lot of basketball content. Right? But anyways, Morgan, are you looking him up now? Don't look.
No.
Okay, thank you. But anyways, he made a video. So the summer camp I went to in high school, it was called the Governor's Scholars Program in Kentucky. But there's obviously, in the internet age, anything you do, like I was thoroughly researching it before I went. I was like, what, have people like vlogged this on YouTube? Like, I want to know like what's happening, because like phones aren't allowed at the camp, so there was nothing. One of the few videos on there is of my brother opening his like acceptance letter to it from a couple years before. So I found that while I was searching. I was like, oh, Alex, that's silly. And then I got to the camp and I was friends with these people for weeks. I'm still very good friends with them. They're in the acknowledgements of my book. And we were talking about searching for content before we even like came. And they were like, yeah, I remember this guy who like, he said he like had to walk 20 minutes to his mailbox just to get the letter. And he was like all out of breath and he was super excited about it. And I was like, that's my brother. Because it was just a whole thing. They were like, your brother is Super Celtic 21.
That's insane.
And we still like joke
That's
about
so
it.
Funny.
Like my friend literally texted the other day, like, remember when we found out that Savannah's brother was like the YouTuber we all watched? It was just a whole thing. It's all those, like, people remember what they watch on the internet. Can you imagine?
It's like, especially when it's like you intentionally search something, it's a little bit different if you or just like, I would say scrolling through short form, in pass, whatever. But it's like, if you're like seeking something out, it's making some sort of impression because you obviously like sat and watched it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's like a very niche thing. It's like this summer camp for Kentucky for smart kids, for like And it was like divided into 3 campuses. So like the fact that more than like in my friend group, everyone had watched the video.
That's
You know?
insane, dude. That's so funny.
And I was like, how many people just walking around campus have watched my brother get his acceptance letter?
That is
You
so
know?
funny. I love that.
Yeah, it was fun. Anyway, back to color inspo.
Just keep
Inspo
wrapping
in
it
general. Yeah, I
Inspo
don't
in
know.
general.
In summation, I don't know. Mine just comes from like random. Like sometimes I'll just think of something. Sometimes I'll see like we talked about like a certain shape of a sweater, and I'm like, oh, I want that. I'll just make it. Or I'll be scrolling TikTok and I'll see something and I'm like, it sparks an idea. Or I'll listen to music or watch a show or watch a movie
Genius.
and
No, that
make
makes
something
sense.
about it. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Honestly, as you were saying that, another thing that came to mind, this might be a little more design tip than inspiration tip, but I'm still going to say it. I am a firm believer, and I don't want this to come out sounding rude, and I apologize if it does, because it's super not intended that way. But when you're brand new to something, you don't automatically need to commodify it. You can design your own stuff from the minute you start crocheting or knitting. That's totally not my point. You definitely can. Once again, you don't need to listen to a word we say. We actually genuinely know nothing. But my point is, I think a lot of people jump into something like this because they think it's an easy way to make money, or they think, oh, I can do that. And like, to some extent, sure, you know, to a certain extent. But with that being said, as someone who has been doing this for a while and has learned a bunch of different things along the way, has had some triumphs, has had some failures, there is something really valuable in learning from others before doing it yourself. Once again, you can look at something and be like, I would like to try to make something like that. Like I said, I look at things all the time. Like if I'm thrifting, I'll see a sweater and I'm like, I love the shape of that sweater. I would like to make something like that. You can absolutely do that. There's nothing saying you can't. You can start designing from the second that you start crafting. That's not my point. I'm just saying that I think people forget that taking the time to do other people's things will help you think like a designer. You'll know more techniques, and you'll probably better be able to create genuinely good ideas, whether they're for yourself or they're something that you want to share as a pattern. I think there's a lot of value in like learning from others before you jump into it yourself, you know what I mean? That's my 2 cents. Just because I kind of wish someone would have told me that when I started. I kind of felt a need to, I had to like start doing my own thing right away, which totally not true.
Which everyone tells you, like, oh, you should sell this. Are you selling that? Sell it online.
You totally
Start a
don't
business.
need
Start
to.
Etsy. So the pressure is very much there.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be a whole episode in and of itself, like to sell or not to sell.
That is the question.
You know, I feel like that would be interesting. I'm gonna
As Shakespeare said.
infamously, I'm gonna add that to our idea list after. If you guys
Oh my
want to hear
God.
us talk about that, let us know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, to wrap things up,
What are we watching?
what are we watching? What are you watching, mates?
I'm watching a couple of different things. I'm on to season 2 of The Bear,
Nice.
which is very good. I want to cancel my Hulu subscription soon, so I should get on that. Don't want to pay for it anymore. I'm rewatching One Tree Hill, which is giving me fall vibes. There was something else I was watching. Oh, Daisy Jones and the Six. I started watching it right after I finished the book, and I was like,
you
I
like
need
it?
to... I think it's okay so far.
Okay.
I think it's okay. But I've literally watched an episode and a half.
I don't think
Girl,
so,
I don't, with love, hey, love you so much, don't trust your opinions, and I mean that. Don't trust them. Just because, okay, throw things around. Just because I think at times we either feel very similarly or very different, And I think when you tell me it before, it sways me, and so I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
So I will let you know when I'm done watching it. I just reading the book and then immediately starting the show. It was like too much for me for a second, so I needed to take a break. That's what I've been watching, and I've just finished reading Catching Fire. Me and Savannah are reading it together.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm reading Peta's POV on
real.
It's the fanfic, whatever. So good. Sorry that fanfic writer really just went off. It is phenomenally written. I love Peta Millark. Like, I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I decided to start reading that last night.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So that's what I've been consuming.
I thought you were gonna say Icebreaker. That's why I was like rolling my eyes.
Oh my god, we know you hate it. I am gonna read it next, but once again, stop telling me, and I'll let you know my opinions when we're done.
Okay. So interested to see. Anyway, Morgan, what are you?
I started watching Parks and Rec for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay.
Did you
still watching
finish?
Schitt's Creek? Or?
Yeah.
No, I'm on. I don't know, season 3 or 4.
Nice.
Mm.
I stopped. I'll pick it up again.
Yeah.
She's always there for me. I'm not worried. I've seen it many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there was much else that I've been like really struggling. I'm like super bored. But I've been busy. But yeah, I started Parks and Rec. I'm on season 2. It's okay. I'm not obsessed, but I'll probably finish it anyways.
Real.
Yeah. I think I started Parks and Rec, and I didn't really get into it. I respect it for what it is, and if it was like just on the TV, I'd probably sit down and I'd have a giggle, but not the show I seek out.
I had started it a while ago. Like, I tried watching it before, and I was just like... And then everyone's like, season 1 is bad. I'm like, just go to season 2. No.
Yeah.
I have to watch it.
I can't do that.
Gotta
see through season 1. Now I'm on season 2. I get it. I'm, like, not in love with it. But I understand the hype.
Real.
That's what I'm watching.
Nice.
Love it. How about you, Savannah?
For me, I'm reading like a million different things right now. The main things are my professor's book came out the same day as mine. She has her own press.
Phenomenal.
It's called BLF Press.
Cool.
They just came out with Black Joy Unbound. It is an anthology of all different authors. It's really good so far. I'm like 10 pages in, but it's really good. It's like poetry and short stories.
Cool.
On the absolute opposite spectrum of that is the 1,000-page finale to this series, the Throne of Glass series. I'm finally on, but it's so boring. It's... I'm like 60 pages in, and it's taken me like a week to get 60 pages in. And the book is 1,000 pages long.
That's the hard part about like those really huge books. I'm like, I understand you're adding a lot of detail and stuff, and like in a world like that, I imagine there's a lot of like lore and like set building that you have to do. I don't really read books like that, so I'm not entirely sure, but like I think that's why I've never really wanted to get into them. I'm like, I respect you building your world, but I don't think I can read it.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a whole thing with like people think I like read these chapters, and I read, you know Book Lovers by Emily Henry, where they talk about being editors and like taking out like entire chunks. Like now I'm thinking like that when I'm reading this book, and I'm like, all of these lines are not necessary, and I'm so mad that I have to even read them because they're just adding to the length of this book, and they're so boring. Like there was one conversation where I was like, this is literally, they're just explaining the plot to each other, these two characters, to move it forward, remind us.
When I was younger and I read a lot, something I would do a lot of the time is I wouldn't read like a lot of like the narration. I'd kind of just skim over it and just like read the dialogue because it's like I do that sometimes. Bored.
Yeah. I've gotten better at like genuinely like digesting a book, but sometimes I'm so excited that I just jump to the conversations. I'm like, I want to know what they're saying next.
I didn't know a person could do that. Like, you know when people are like, shows are too slow for me, so I watch them at 2x speed?
I don't do that. I'll skip through stuff, though.
That's crazy. I can't skip through a show. I get too lost.
If it's, like, okay, if it's like really like cringy, or okay, here's mostly I'll skip stuff that's like embarrassing or really cringy, and I'm like, I don't actually need to watch this. It's not contributing anything. I'll skip through it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Other stuff I'll skip through is really long fight scenes because what's the point? I literally don't care. Like, next. So that's mainly what it is.
I actually also slightly adjust what I said. I'll skip to the dialogue because I'm dying to know what the person's going to say, and then once I know and I can actually focus on the words, I'll jump back.
Yeah. Okay, that's
I
fair.
did not do that.
You don't even
Didn't
jump back.
really expect you to do. I needed to like think about how I read for a second. I like, if I'm like so like, oh my god, what are they going to say? I like need to know before I can like digest like
Yeah.
what else is being told.
This is also like elementary school, Morgan. Like, I don't read now.
You actually
I
don't
don't
know.
read.
Morgan doesn't know how to read. I don't think
Call
we
me
talk
Leah
about that
Michelle.
I used to know how to read in elementary school, but I don't anymore.
But I lost that skill.
Yeah,
I just
Yeah.
crochet too much.
Yeah.
that's fair.
I'd rather do that than read. I read on the tube sometimes.
Oh.
That's
But then I
they're
just,
so
like-
mysterious. Oh my god.
my
Everyone wants
phone.
you so bad.
I read on my phone.
Oh, never mind.
I'm not schlepping around a physical book. I have yarn in my bag.
I am.
I'm not. Do you commute on the London tube?
Yeah.
She's packed.
I
and
sit next to you
hot.
every day.
It was always really like muggy in there.
Yeah.
Did not enjoy that.
I don't need all of that weight to carry.
Yeah, fair.
And I just get
I'm
them
also-
free on my phone from the library.
Genius.
That's fair.
I love an
I
ebook.
do that as well.
Libby.
I
Download
love
Libby.
Libby. Love Libby.
So that's what I do.
I was gonna say I'm also watching Selling Sunset. I don't know if you guys have ever
I've
seen
heard
it,
of
the
it.
reality TV show.
I
about,
watched
like-
the first season like
Yeah,
a million years
yeah.
ago when it came out.
It's fun. It's just me
I-
and my roommates or every once in a while we watch it. What?
A couple of years, I just had like remembered something funny. A couple of years ago, I don't remember when it came out, but it was like last year, or the year before, maybe 2 years ago. There was like a new season, and I was like, "Oh, season 2," and my friend was like, "This is season 4." I was like, "Mm-mm.
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
I was like, I was so confident that it was the second season. It's just like,
Yeah.
really isn't.
Just not. That's so funny.
But now they have like all the offshoots of it too.
Yeah, like Selling the OC or whatever. I don't watch those.
Yeah.
You lose me there. I'm not a true fiend of reality TV. There are some people
Neither
who
am
like
I.
watch
I
all the
really
like
don't
Real
watch
Housewives
reality.
like iterations. It's amazing. I don't have that sort of dedication.
No, me
I
neither.
like some reality shows, but others just really stress me out.
Here's what I
fair.
watch: Survivor, and some of The Voice. I'll watch the blind auditions,
I love
and then
those.
I'll watch like the rest of the show, but I'll just skip over the songs I don't care about.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's fair. Yeah. Cool.
That's it.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal and amazing episode this has been. Ladies, we've done it again.
It's long. It's a long
Yeah,
episode.
it is long.
We just keep
Yeah.
feeding them. Sorry.
You're
Sorry.
welcome.
Sorry. So anyways, thanks for listening.
Thanks,
to
guys.
this week's episode of The Crochet Authority. If you liked it, which we know you did, this is the best episode ever, make sure to rate it 5 stars and give us the best review possible wherever you can. Also, make sure to stay up to date with us on Instagram and TikTok at The Crochet Authority. Also follow our personal accounts on social media because we are perfect. Bye.
Bye.